Hi there, I'm Mark, and today's training day. Today, I'm going to show you everything you need to know about state indicators, from default settings to custom images and everything in between. Before we get into it though, let's first talk about states, what they are, and why we use them. Now, states show the condition that something is in at a specific point in time. They're set up on your metric set to check for conditions within your data. They're incredibly useful because they'll allow you to do a few things, like call attention to certain data points or to customize visualization settings by taking advantage of state styles. Now let's go ahead and take a quick look at a dashboard with some states applied. On this dashboard, we're looking at the monthly sales figures for 2020. We have a target of 5,000 a month, and we've applied states to highlight which months fall below that target. Now, in the sea of tranquil blue that we see that we have 2 months that stand out, August and December. Both of these months fall under our target, which matches the condition in our state and causes them to be highlighted in a shade of red. So now that we've seen what a state is, now that we know what states are, let's go ahead and talk about state indicators. Now, state indicators are a basic data visualization, and they focus on a single row of data instead of the full data set, like we see with other visualizations. So what do state indicators display? Well, they display different colors and shapes depending on the state of your data. They can be built like any other visualization through the data analysis panel, or you can take an existing metric set and drag and drop it directly onto a blank state indicator to automatically have it configured with the already defined states of that metric set. So let's go ahead and see some state indicators in action. This dashboard is currently showing the daily breakdown of sales for a selected month. There's a state indicator at the top right hand side that shows the monthly sales status. We can see that for December, our state indicator is red. And according to the legend, that means we're below our target. This state indicator is taking advantage of a few different features within it. First, we're keeping the shape defaulted to the ellipse and simply changing the fill color based on the state. We're also showing the value of the month selected, and we do that by taking advantage of our placeholder system, meaning that each state configured in the state indicator can show the value of the data point and any additional text we'd like to see, such as next steps. We can also see that it has a legend associated with it, so we can see what each state represents. Now, when setting up this state, the state names I gave it are incredibly simple in the metric set. They're below average and above average. But on the legend, it actually reads below monthly target and on or above monthly target. Now, that's because each state has its legend text property set to something way more descriptive. Now, what if I want to do something more, like have a flashing state indicator? Well, we can see that states can handle that as well. Now, just a quick note about animated states. While blinking and flashing may seem like a great idea, use them to indicate highly critical information that requires immediate response. Now, with that in mind, let's continue. With December still selected, we can see that it's not flashing or blinking. However, if I change it to the month of August, we can see that A, the shape has changed from an ellipse to a triangle, and B, that it's now flashing. Something is definitely wrong here, and when we look at the legend, we know that a flashing triangle means that we are critically below target. So now, we can animate our state indicators if we need to, and we can also change the shape used for each state. Now, what else can we do with shapes? Can we change them? Can we combine them? Can we animate the combinations? Let's find out. Look at that. 2 combined shapes on a single state indicator. Pretty neat. What we're looking at is a state with a background shape of an ellipse and a foreground shape of an X. Now, we can see that the X fits nicely into the ellipse, but that wasn't always the case. In fact, both of these shapes are the same size. By taking advantage of the foreground shape's padding property, we shrunk it down to a size that works. You'll also notice that the legend updates to show both shapes. And because we're working with two different shapes, we get to control the general fill properties for both, as well as the animated fill properties for both. So this lets us mix and match our shapes to get a combination of shapes that we can use to achieve our desired look. Now, what happens if I don't want to use any of the shapes available to me? Well, that's where custom images come into play. By changing the brush value on our state indicator's fill from solid to image, we'll be able to use images for our states. The neat thing about this is that the images will fit to the symbol used. In the example I have up on the screen, my symbol is set to a rectangle while using a custom image, meaning I can take advantage of the shapes and images to come up with some pretty neat indicators. Now with the brush set to image, we'll have the ability to choose an image from our active project, or we'll be able to paste in a URL and grab an image hosted on the web. Now I've gone ahead and uploaded two images that I have configured for my states to use. And we can see Toronto's own Drake expressing his distaste in poorly performing months and expressing delight in our well-performing months. Now, because we've changed the brush value from solid to image, we notice something interesting. And that is that we have two additional values inside of that brush property, linear and radial. By selecting either of these two, we'll be able to use multiple colors in a gradient on a single state, letting us come up with some neat and colorful designs as well. And there you have it. Everything you need to know about state indicators, what they are, what they can do, and how we can use them.